Welcome to 23 Degrees Sideways. If the light looks a little weird to you, that's just the way it is outside. This is all natural light, and we have one of those wonderful sunny, cloudy days where the sun is over here being bright and the clouds are over here by the window, and it's causing some interesting reflections and refractions, so the color is a little different. We're going to talk about meditation. Woo! Meditation. I need to talk about a couple of things here. I'm going to give an example of something that you probably don't want to do. But it's also an example of how to use your life situations to your advantage, I guess. We'll get to that. Meditation does not take you to enlightenment. Guess what? My experience and the experience of the people I'm around and the whole modern neurological fundamental well-being, okayness, enlightenment, non-symbolic consciousness kind of movement, it does look like meditation doesn't actually take you there. It doesn't get you to enlightenment. What it does is it gets you ready for enlightenment, so to speak. It does set up programs and rewiring in your brain. Your neurons change. Everything changes. And it's really cool. But it's not like you meditate until you suddenly achieve enlightenment. The spark for enlightenment seems to be much more easily gotten through other methods, practices. I've talked about it before. In my case, it was actually a preparatory exercise, a little guided visualization as a practice for a group exercise. And I was just primed, and that little visualization just popped me over, and I was gone for days, right? According to most people, I'm still gone and way out there. So let's talk about this with the minimum necessary, with the optimum fun amount of woo. So when you meditate, you are changing your neural pathways, you're changing how your brain behaves, you're changing how your mind behaves. I use the model, and again, this is a model, let's not get too into it, that the mind is emergent from the body. The brain is part of the body. The body is kind of a broader thing than most people think of it, but the brain is part of the body. The mind emerges from that. That's the mind. The mind is emergent. And then consciousness is something completely different again. We're getting into souls and stuff that is non-local and not time-bound. And you're just going to have to live with that interpretation. So the mind is emergent from the body. The mind is very much body-based, timeline-based. Well, when you meditate, you are programming the mind and the body, the body to the mind and the mind through the body and the body through the mind. It's all multi-directional. And that's what meditation basically does. It can do a whole bunch of things for you. It can change your mental habits. It can change your outlook on life for positivity, gratitude. It can magic stuff into your life, through releasing negative and accepting positive. There's all sorts of stuff that meditation can do. Meditation does often prime your mind and your body for present time. And that's really the key to the little story I'm going to tell you now that I've spent 5 minutes setting it up. There's a kind of meditation, one of the most basic, powerful, universal meditations, which we, in my group, call the Eraser. I'm not actually sure which groups share that name. Some people call it mindfulness, but I think that's a little different. The basic eraser is that you breathe, you don't. So here's where we go a little different on different paths. If you're on a Buddhist path, if you're on a tantric path, whichever path you're on, I don't worry. I've been taught not to worry about the pattern of the breath, the length of the breath, specifically focusing on making the breath longer, shorter, deeper, shallower, sitting in a specific position, lounging like this, having a cushion, getting my legs in the right spot, lining up my chakras. None of that stuff is actually part of this basic focus type of meditation. Whatever works for you works for you. If you believe that you need to line up your chakras, then you probably do. You know, I'm probably doing some sort of chakra alignment that makes sense to people who know about chakras and doesn't mean anything to me at all. You know, I'll often sit on a park bench if I'm tired. If my body's fatigued and I'm trying to stay awake, I'll use a picnic table so that I can put my elbows in front of me and sort of help with my posture without leaning necessarily, but, you know, help keep me in a good position. Because if you're doing a 1 hour meditation, that's a long time. You know, I don't generally do the full lotus, but I can. I have. So the basics are pick some sensation area and track the sensation as you breathe. That's it. Not much to it. You know, the classic is pick a nostril, you know, whichever nostril it is, and feel the sensation of the air flowing inside your nostril as you breathe in and breathe out naturally. You know, there's a tendency for people to focus on their breathing a little bit and change their breathing and big breaths and longer breaths and slowing down breaths. That, you know, your body's going to do what it's going to do. Especially since you're relaxing, you're probably going to take slower breaths, right? Okay. Of course, if you can't breathe through your nose for whatever reason, then you might, you know, tip of your tongue on the roof of your mouth, and you can feel the air flowing past the sides of your tongue. There's all sorts of sensations to focus on, but the point is to focus on the sensations. What that does isn't give you enlightenment, but it brings your mind into the present moment and makes it easier to be here now. Not worrying about the bills, regretting the thing that you said to your wife last night, breaking up with your girlfriend in high school 20 years ago, worrying about where you're going to be in 15 years when the gas is too expensive and you don't know how you're going to live because the food's all gone and Soylent Green is people, and none of that stuff. Now, you're here, right now. Where are you? Here. What time is it? Now. You know, bringing your mind into that is what this kind of meditation really does. What it does is it makes you focus on a body sensation. That bodies can only be in present time. Now, you can have stress that's a lock on past events and stuff. We know how that works. That's basic in psychology, physiology now. Used to be woo-woo stuff, engrams and thetans and all that, but now it's basic psychology. We know it works. That stress can be there, but what you're doing with the meditation is not trying to process those old stresses. You're just trying to be in the body. The body is in present time. That's how the body lives. So focusing on the body brings your mind into present time. Here, now. Here, now. Here, now. That's the whole point. That's it. That's what this meditation's about. And it's super cool because if you prime your mind for here and now, then popping over into enlightenment, which is all about here and now, or it exists in the here and now, becomes much easier. You also reduce stress, change neural pathways. There's all sorts of fun stuff, especially if you can meditate for longer than 45 minutes, because that's where some really deep level changes actually reliably occur. Like, this is replicable science stuff. The objectivist people like it. So that's the meditation. You're here, you're now, you're doing a body sensation to keep your mind in the here and now. Your mind's gonna wander and do all the stuff. Forgive yourself, don't worry about it, relax, accept and allow whatever is happening. But your goal isn't, this is one of the things I see a lot of right now in the effort-based self-help world. The goal of meditation is to get the thoughts up and thank them for being, and then let them go and let them arise and cherish them. And no. I'm not sure what that's about. Maybe I should try that more, because I'm really not sure what that's about. But what we're doing here is body sensations to bring the mind into present time, here and now. Okay? So the story, now that we're 10 minutes in to the story. I was doing this practice in a class. This was a couple of years ago. This was the first class where I got the enlightenment. And one of the people in the class with me was having a really hard time and a lot of stress and anger, much anger, because his wife couldn't keep things quiet enough during his 1 hour meditation. The door would open, the window would open, someone would knock on the door, the grandkids would make noise in the yard, whatever. He got very irate, very complaining about it. He was like, hey, I can't do this because of all this stuff. And I'm like, well, this was probably my biggest moment of self-control in that whole course, because I wanted to say, all the way back then, I wanted to say, that's all present time stuff. Let it be there. The whole point of the meditation is to bring your mind into present time. If the sensation of breathing is happening and you hear a noise, you hear the noise. Don't analyze the noise. Don't get pissed at the noise. Don't bring the noise into your awareness and make it a thing that you have to worry about for the next 25 fucking years. It's a noise. It's part of the present moment. Now, feel your nostrils. Oh, there's another noise. Great. Now, feel your nostrils. It's part of the present moment. That's the whole thing. It's a present time body experience. The noise impacts your eardrums. Your mind goes, hey, because that's what minds do. Minds have to pay attention to the universe. That's actually something they're really good for, So I wanted to say it. I wanted to say that's all present time stuff. Use it as part of the meditation. Just let it be there. Allow, accept, flow with it. And I don't mean Csikszentmihalyi's state of flow thing. I mean just flow, like go with it. Go with the flow. So I didn't, because I was a student and it wasn't my place and I wasn't supposed to be doing that, and so I didn't do that, But I want to bring it up now to anyone for whom it might be useful to hear that, I specifically went out of my way during this class, this first course I took, to go to the most crowded places I could. This is in the middle of a lockdown, and I traveled during the course. I was, for the first part of the course, in a state where the governor specifically said that the way to be healthy was to close all of the windows in your house and get your outside time by sitting in a chair near a closed window and staring outside. That was the kind of lockdown that particular state, Nevada, was having. That was very loud. Whatever it is, deal with it. Present time. So I went to the most crowded places I could. There were a lot of people who were rebellious against these lockdowns, but you couldn't do it in stores. You couldn't do it in the state I was in was Nevada, casinos or anything. Anything that had government controllers, permits, the governor was willing to use this to take your license away forever, revoke your licenses completely if you disobeyed the lockdown. If you opened the window, and I'm dead serious, opened the windows, it was crazy, right? But there were a lot of people who were rebels. So you'd find these state parks that were closed, but the state was shut down, so the state wasn't monitoring them, So we'd go there, and there'd be people there, not crowds of people, but there were people. Some places more people than you would normally expect. Like out in the middle of nowhere, Nevada, a place called Grimes Point, there were more people than normal. It's normally like the middle of nowhere, nothing. It's just some petroglyphs and a trail. You'd find more people, which was kind of cool, actually, But we would go out there and meditate in various state parks, specifically to have people around. And I didn't have I specifically wanted the noise, the nature, the outdoors, the people talking, the kids playing. They put caution tape around the playground so the kids would play with the caution tape after they tore it off, make flags out of it and stuff. It was great fun. very rebellious, made me very proud of humanity. But those distractions, those noises, they're all in the moment. They're part of the universe that you're supposed to be kind of sinking into, kind of be part of. So you're doing this meditation. I'm not trying to do this meditation in a sensory deprivation tank. I'm supposed to be doing this meditation in the world. That's the whole point of this meditation. So this guy kept getting mad because his wife couldn't build him a sensory deprivation tank in his study. And, obviously there's relationship issues probably going back 40 years and buttons and triggers and stuff. But I just wanted to tell him at the time that the whole point of this is present time, bringing your mind into present time nowness, here-ness. So all of those distractions are kind of useful, cool, whatever. So that was a thing. Here comes the noise again. I really have no idea what's going on out there. I'd like to just suggest to you that if you're doing this kind of meditation, you just accept what's there. You don't have to go to a busy spot and specifically try to get the most distractions possible to see how good you are at meditating. That's not really the point. But if something comes up, you don't need a special temple, you don't need a special mat, you don't need a cushion, you don't need a special posture, you don't need anything except the meditation itself. It can be done any way that you can stay awake. Which is why I don't do it laying down, because I cannot stay awake laying down. I can do these meditations with my eyes open if I'm in the right part of nature or the right part of a city. Like, I can do it in a parking garage with my eyes open, no problem. That's fantastic. I love parking garages for whatever reason. That's it. That's really all there is to say. If you're doing this kind of meditation, the goal is to bring your mind into the present, here and now. Distractions that are outside of you, notice them and let them go. Don't hang on to them. They consider them a positive. They're kind of a benefit to your meditation. That's all I have for today. Stay sideways.